on site. All right.
Martin Damsbo and Jorge Jimenez in this next match.
So the third match of the men's compound, pitting the Dane against the man from El Salvador, Jorge Jimenez against Martin Damsbo. The winner facing the victor of the next match between Roger Willett Jr. and Ali Davarchi. Now Damsbo comes in as the number 5 seed. He's ranked 7th in the world, 26 years old, while Jorge Jimenez from El Salvador is the 4th seed. He comes in ranked 6th in the world. Of course, he was number 1 in 2007, and there's a good look at the Dane, Martin Damsbo, 26 years old. Was on Denmark's team that won the silver medal in Torino at the World Championships this summer. Also won stage 2 in Turkey and stage 1 in Croatia. And there's Jorge Jimenez waving to the crowd here in Turkey. He, of course, is silver medalist at stage 1 in Porek, Croatia, and was 5th at last year's World Cup Finals in Edinburgh. So Jimenez has been here before, accustomed to the pressures that go along with a World Cup final. And we shall see as number 6 takes on number 7, at least in the world. And as far as seeding goes here in Istanbul, Damsbo seated 5th and Jimenez seated 4th. Shooting at target 1 on the left, it's Martin Damsbo.
Starts off with the 10, doing what you need to do.
So Jimenez, who's won all 3 previous head-to-head battles with Damsbo.
Starting off the 9, just a little low right.
So he falls behind by 1 on the first shot. Again, 15 arrows per archer, 5 ends, 3 arrows per end. Highest possible score, 150.
10-10. There you go, Martin.
Damsbo on pace. And Jorge with his second 9, grouping his arrows, but they're both in the 9 ring.
Ooh.
Kind of negates one of those 10s.
Yeah, and you can see him with the massively strong bow arm there, trying to get it back in the middle, just doesn't do it. And Jorge answers with the 10, taking advantage there. And he shot 8 of his own, so really kind of a wash, and Martin comes away with a 1-point lead.
But it could have been a larger advantage for Martin Damsbo, and he knows that. Of course, Jorge Jimenez knows it as well, and probably feels fortunate to be trailing just by 1.
Very much so.
So there is a good look at Damsbo and his coach. Damsbo picking up a mixed team bronze medal at stage 3 in Ogden, Utah this summer. Also finished 5th in the individual competition just a couple of weeks ago in Shanghai. Jimenez, the winner of a couple of World Cup silver medals 2 years ago in Shanghai, as well as Croatia, trailing by 1 as we head to the second end of their quarterfinal showdown in Istanbul. Where it is a gentle breeze blowing now along the Bosphorus Strait. Jimenez, first shot of the second end.
Shoots a 10. Trying to put the pressure on, get a lead in this match from Martin. That's a 9, all tied up.
Damsbo 26, Jimenez 44. That's what's interesting to me about this sport, is the fact that you have different age ranges competing against each other. You have in a lot of other sports the discussions about, well, you know, what if somebody from 30 years ago or 20 years ago or 10 years ago is competing against today's athletes? Well, you get that in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sport where if you take care of your body, you could stay in it for 40 years.
So you can see yourself at the age of 60 still competing?
Maybe.
You want to still fly around the world?
I don't know if I'll be flying around the world then, but I'll still be shooting, hopefully. My shoulders hold up.
Somewhere.
And there's a 10 by Jorge.
So a good end for Jorge Jimenez.
And Martin needs to shoot a 10 here to keep the match tied. And he does it.
Yeah.
Tie game.
So it's even after 2 ends as Jimenez shoots 2 bullseyes in that second end. And after trailing Damsbo by 1 after the first 3 arrows, it's now tied. 29 in that second end for Jimenez to get himself back into the match as Martin Damsbo talks strategy with his coach. Good match going on here in Istanbul. The third quarterfinal match. The first 2 quarterfinal matches going to Rio Wild and Sergio Pagni. And there you see a good look at the score. Tied up, going to the third end. And Damsbo to go first. Draws it back. A compound bow with its cables and pulleys, and there's on the line, you think?
Looks like it's in that last hole that he shot.
They'll put
There's
an
no
asterisk by it.
so it's just above.
Yeah, they took the asterisk away.
And there's a 10.
No need for the asterisk.
1 point lead for Jorge.
So Damsbo trailing for the first time today.
He
Answers.
shoots a 10. Doing what he needs to do.
Must have had a cloud come over.
And there's an X. Doing what Jorge does, shooting lots of 10s.
X marks the spot for Jimenez.
You see a little bit of a bow arm throw there. He knew it was going to be close to the line and just out of it.
Damsbo dissatisfied.
And there's a 9. So
He'll pick
Jorge
up a point.
picks up a 1 point advantage going into this end.
So after being down by 1 after the first end, Jimenez comes back, ties it up in the second end, and then pulls ahead by 1 in the third end. 6 more arrows to go for both of these shooters as Damsbo awaits his arrows, and Jimenez, who is an industrial engineer back home in San Salvador and an excellent archer on the world circuit, now leads by 1 over the young man from Denmark. And Jimenez trying to make it 4 wins against Damsbo in his career. Martin locks, loads, gets set to pull the trigger. Coach counting it down.
And it's a 10 just on the line on the left side.
Just what the doctor ordered for Martin Damsbo.
And there's a spider. Right on the cross.
You can't do it much better than that, can you?
No, there's not very much room for improvement on that one. And there's a 10.
From 50 meters away.
And there's a 10. Both archers wanting this match.
Both of them warming up. Getting dialed in. Damsbo only down by 1 point.
And that's an 8. So not what he wanted to do there, and that one might have cost him the match.
Unless Jimenez falters that 8, as Brady Ellison just said.
And there's an X. 30 points for Jorge Jimenez.
So he picks up 2 more points, yeah.
So now 3 points going into the last end, and with these conditions, 3 points, 3 arrows, it's doable, but it's hard.
When you're in this situation, Brady, and you've got a 3-point lead with 3 arrows to go, what's your mindset? What are you thinking?
Like in a situation like this, you're thinking that worst case scenario, you hold gold, put 3 arrows in the gold, one of them's probably going to catch 10, you come away with at least a 1-point win. But you know, most everyone's sitting there, even if you have a 10-point lead or tied or a 1-point lead, you're still looking to shoot 3 X's down there and just finish the match. You don't want to leave anything to chance.
So you're maintaining that focus. You're not letting up one iota.
No, you never ever want to let up, because you know there's still some stats and stuff on it. You know, people are looking at your arrow average and how many 10s you're shooting in the matches and stuff. So even if you have a lead, you don't want to slack off at all. You still want to go down there and try to shoot a perfect score.
Be a big mistake to let off the gas a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So a 3-point lead for Jorge Jimenez from El Salvador, heading into the 5th and final end. Could be the end for Martin Damsbo here at the World Cup Finals in Istanbul, unless he can mount a miraculous comeback, and he tries to start one.
You know, so it's pretty much a pointed arrow to try to come back. A little bit of a flinch, and he shoots a 10, which he does a lot.
I was going to ask you about it. It looked like a little bit of a flinch.
It's the second time he's done it. He shot a 9 left on the first one and normally when he does it, he shoots a 10. It's just one of them things that I don't really understand. If I did that, it would be way out. There's an X for Martin, keeping the pressure on.
Kind of like a hitch in a batter's swing or something like that, maybe.
Yeah. And there's a 9 just out, it looks like. They put an asterisk by it.
So a glimmer of hope for Martin Damsbo. Who has shot 2 10s.
Needs a third one here, wind blowing him around a little bit. Holds long and shoots an
Got
X.
it.
That's what he needs to do. So needs an 8 here, and hoping that Jorge didn't catch his second arrow. And there's a flinch again and a 9. So Jorge will take the match.
So even though Damsbo wins the 5th end by 2 points, 30-28, it is going to be Jorge Jimenez advancing. His 3-point lead, a little too much to overcome. And as you said, it was that 8 a couple of ends ago that really come back and haunt Martin Damsbo.
Yep, and you know, he's going to be kicking himself for that one. He's not very happy right now. You can kind of see it in his face. He's keeping a somewhat happy face for the cameras, but you know down deep inside that he's pretty mad right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of disappointment in that young man's face as he loses for the 4th time to that man from El Salvador, Jorge Jimenez, who came in ranked 6th in the world. He was number 1 in the world back in 2007. Meanwhile, Damsbo was ranked 7th in the world coming in and was a bit of a lower seed. He was bidding for an upset. Didn't happen, though, as he comes up 1 arrow short, sending this to a shoot-off. And so Martin Damsbo left to wonder, what if he had not shot that 8? That you almost have to be perfect on every shot here in the compound competition, with that target 50 meters away, and with people like Real Wild out there capable of shooting the perfect match almost any time out.